Hello, welcome to the visualization class. In this class, we are going to learn how to use Python to create a pie chart. Let's first take a look at a real-world task. The one high school want to improve the academic performance for students. So let's say recently the dean want to improve student performance so that school can obtain more sponsorship and resources. And the task given to you is to use data-driven approaches to analyze student performance and provide insight for this education organization. So let's take a look at what these data are collected. And this is the sample data looks like. I cut a piece of the data and showing the data to you in these slides. So this data set contains several columns, right? So from gender, ethnicity, parental education, lunch, all the way to the writing score. So this data set contains two types of variables. The first is a categorical variable, and that include gender, ethnicity, parental education, lunch, and test preparation course. And we also have some numeric variables that include math score, reading score, and writing score. So this data tells you what is the characteristic of the students and what their performance. And in this class, we are going to use this data and to analyze the student performance. And first, we're going to use the pie chart to display the proportions for certain categorical variables. Also, it is noted that the categorical variables is from gender all the way to the test preparation course. And if you want to use a pie chart, the pie chart is focusing on a certain variable and create the proportion of each label in that variable. Okay, let's stop here and go to the Colab. Okay, after we open a Colab, and we can import some libraries. The first two libraries are those visualization tools. And the third library is to load the dataset and showing the dataset and do some data manipulation. Okay, in order to load the dataset, I'm going to go to this content, and in the content, I'm going to upload the dataset we're going to analyze. So here I already uploaded the student.csv. And now once I upload the student.csv in the content, we can further read the dataset and let Python to show the first 5 rows of the dataset. So I'm going to define a df called this is a data frame, and that holds the entire student.csv, this dataset. So that equal to bd.readcsv. Okay, in this readcsv function, I'm going to type student.csv so that Python will read the data first and then put that into a variable in df. And let's take a look at what the df is. So by watching this df, I'm going to attach a head function afterwards so that Python will print the first 5 rows of the dataset. So let's run the code. Okay, now you can see this is a dataset we uploaded, and then Python help us to print the first 5 rows of it. And next, we want to create a pie chart. So this pie chart will display each variable, each categorical variable's slices, and each slice represent a proportion for a particular label. Okay, let's use this gender as an example. So before I create a pie chart, let's first talk about what is the gender distribution. So in order to quickly show the gender distribution, let's type gender distribution. In order to quickly show its distribution, I'm going to use a value counts function. So first, we're going to extract the column, a specific column we're going to analyze by typing df bracket and quotation gender. So this is how you specify a certain variable you're going to analyze, a certain column you're going to analyze. So this is a df gender, and then we're going to attach value counts. So remember, this value is underline counts, okay? And let's run the code. Okay, after we run the code, you can see Python gives us the distribution of male and female students in this data set. So you can see that the female student is 518 and the male student is 482. So this is basic information we're going to show in the pie chart, right? So in order to create a pie chart that displays the gender distribution, we need two slices of the pies. One slice is represent the female student, and the other slice represents the male student. And we also need to show the female and male name in the pie chart. So let's use this table, this small table, to further create a pie chart. Again, in order to create a pie chart, we need three elements. The first element is the counts for each label, and we already have that. Female is 518 and the male is 482, right? So we have that counts. And another information we need is labels, right? Labels for each label name for each label. That being said, we use female and male to represent each slice of the pie. So that is also called that represents the label name for each slice of the pie. Okay, and I think that is a basic data information we need to create a pie chart. Okay, by the way, I type this hashtag and then put some text so that when you execute this box of the code, those green text will not be executed by Python. Okay, so let's create a pie chart. So in order to create a pie chart, I'm first want to extract the name. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is to create a variable that is called name equal to we're gonna still use this df gender dot value counts, because these provide all this information we need to create a pie chart. Again, after that we attach index. After that we're gonna attach to list. So what we're going to do here is to, that gender dot value counts give us this example, right? And the index help us to extract the first column, male and female. To list is to change those male and female into a list. Okay, let's run the code. So I want to test what is the name will be. So I just type the name variable, and Python will show what is the content in it. So let's run the code. Okay, now you can see the name equal to this list, and this list have two elements, the male and the female. That is how we extract the label name for each of the slice of the pie. So we remember that this information is the foundation for us to build the pie chart. So those information, the female and male, help us to mark each slice name. again. So this is a name, and another element we want to extract is those numbers, right? We use these numbers and further display the proportion of each label. So in order to do that, I'm gonna say value, and value equal to, again, we're gonna use this df gender dot value counts, and this is a basic table that we're gonna extract information upon. Okay. The first thing we're going to do is to extract the names, like the female and the male. And in here, we're going to further extract its values. So in order to do that, we're going to directly put toList attached to that. So df.valueCounts is this table, right? But toList is to extract all these values from the second column. So let's take a look at the value by type value afterwards, and then run the code. You can see that the value is 518 and 482. So now we have a name and value. The name is indicating each slice's name, and the value indicate what is the size of the slice for the pie. So that is the basic information we need to create a pie chart. Okay, afterwards we're gonna create a pie chart, and in order to create a pie chart, we're gonna see plot.pie. This is a very easy function. And now, in order to create a pie chart for this specific information, we're going to put some arguments inside it. So the first argument, we're going to put value. So this is the data we're going to create a pie chart upon. So basically, the pie chart is from this value. And of course, we're going to attach each value's name. So in order to specify the name, we're going to use another argument called labels. And that labels equal to name, right? Because the name is corresponding to this value. The 518 correspond to the female, and the 482 correspond to the male, okay? And finally, we're going to use plt.show to express the results. So let's take a look at what happened. Okay, after we run the code, you can see that this is a pie chart, right? And the blue section, this bigger section represents the female, and then the orange section represents the male. In order to create a bigger pie chart, we're going to ask Python to create a bigger canvas for us. In order to do so, I'm going to define a figure variable, and that is called fig, and fig equal to plt.figure, and we're going to specify the figure size equal to 6 by 6. And that means we're going to use Python to create a canvas 6 by 6 and then put the pie chart afterwards. So again, let's rerun the code. Now you can see that the pie chart is bigger than the previous one. Okay, another important issue I want to solve here is to indicate the proportions. We know that those blue area indicate the 518, right? And the orange area represents 482. In order to specify the proportions and put the specific proportion into this pie chart, I'm gonna use another argument, and that is called auto PCT, auto percentage, equal to we're gonna use this sign, this sign to represent the proportion of each slice. And because this proportion is a text, so I'm going to use a quotation. And inside the quotation, the first percentage and the last percentage represent the boundary of the text. And the 1.1 represent how many decimal I need to represent the percentage number. And F represent the text characteristic. So let's run the code, and you can see that after we specify the auto PCT, and you're gonna see this is 51.8% and 48.2%. So add another information in this pie chart so that it contains much more information. Okay, so this is how we create a pie chart. Thank you for watching.